This meeting's called to order. It's a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Vallecitos Water District for Wednesday, June 15th, 2022 at 5 p.m. at the district office. Could I ask Mr. Pedrazi to lead us in the pledge?
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, next is roll call. Looks like we're all here. Next is additions to the agenda. I don't have any proposed additions. So we'll move on to adoption of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt. It's been moved by, was it Director Pennick? And seconded by Director Boyd.
Or the other way around.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been moved by Director Boyd Hodgson, seconded by Director Pennick. Please vote. And it carries unanimously. Okay. Public comment, seeing none, we'll dispense with that. Consent calendar. I'll entertain a motion on the consent calendar.
Move to approve tonight's consent calendar.
Second.
A motion by Director Sinella, second by Director Hernandez. Please vote. And that carries unanimously. Okay, on to action items. 2.1, water supply conditions update. Give us some good news, Chris.
Maybe elsewhere. Sadly, I feel like I'm telling the same story over and over again. Is the PowerPoint showing up on your screens?
No.
Oh, okay, got it. Now we've got it, right?
There we go.
Yes.
So we are currently in a level 2 drought condition. We issued a press release on June 1st because we transitioned from irrigating 2 days a week to 3 days a week from June through the end of October during the warmer summer months. And uncharacteristically, as I had issued a press release in April noting we were in level 2 drought, got no bites from anybody. 2 news stations decided they wanted to do stories on it, so both NBC7 and Fox 5 came out, and we were able to get the word out on our current drought conditions. So that was good for our customers and then everybody else as well. And a lot of the things that I had mentioned in the news story have actually come into fruition, that the other agencies are all starting to move to their level 2, or they're having to implement level 2 procedures even if they don't declare a level 2 drought. And just today I got notification that they're going to require no irrigation for commercial, industrial, non-functional turf. So that has come full circle as well. Why am I not able to move down? State Water Resources Control Board put some cuts to access to rivers and streams in the Delta. This is a little bit unprecedented. Over 4,000 water rights entities will not be able to pump from the rivers and streams, including 400 held by 212 water systems. So that's a rather big impact that's a little unprecedented.
Is that in the Central Valley as well?
More around
The Delta?
the Delta coming into San Francisco Bay area there.
What was the justification for them to do that?
They didn't really specify, except for the conditions are so poor. There wasn't a trigger that I would call out. I just think it's gotten that serious. Colorado, I have a slide coming up on the Colorado River, but that one's not looking well either. There's a lot of A lot of issues throughout the west. Northern Sierra, you can see we're less than average, currently 40%. You can see that big early spike in January, and then it just flattens off for quite a while. Snowpack water content is looking like it's 4% of average right now, which is really, really poor. Barely anything there. I think last year they had the pictures where they went and did the water content, and the guy's standing there in a field where there's supposed to be snow and there's nothing there. So maybe a little bit, but not a whole lot there. Reservoir storage, Lake Oroville, 53% capacity, San Luis Reservoir, 44%. Those are the ones that eventually make their way down to the Southern California. That's why they're significant for us. Colorado River status is a new image I just got. It seemed like everybody I know, because they know I work in water conservation, sent me this picture. So I decided I had to share it with you as well. But, you know, here's one of these boats that sank, and then the water level dropped so low that they were able to see it. So the precipitation, not bad, 93%, but Lake Mead only 29% full, and Lake Powell 27% full. I think Powell may have gone up a little bit because they moved that water down from Wyoming, so that may be a
Flaming Gorge Reservoir.
yeah, might have been a minor little increase there. 3-month temperature, we're showing in our specific area warmer than normal favored. And then 3-month precipitation outlook, it's just 50-50. It's no specific prediction by NOAA on that. And then Governor Newsom also asked water agencies to all submit their data earlier. They want it by the 3rd. The old deadline was more around the 15th of the month. And a lot of the water agencies that I coordinate with, we're all complaining and concerned because typically we don't get our data from and I confirmed it with Mike, that we don't get our data from the water authority until about the 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
So there's kind of no way to get them this data that much quicker. And it was almost implied, just give us anything, and you're thinking, what are you gonna do with bad data? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So that's just one of the things that the state's pushing right now, just another item. And that's the report. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I assume you're coordinating with the county water authority on messaging.
Yes, absolutely. And the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California is shipping me quite a few table tents to get out to the restaurants, to put out to remind people that you can only get water on request.
Yeah.
They've had their printing problems of their own. It's the story that all of us get, supply chain issues, but they'll be shipping them tomorrow, and then they should arrive here next week. So we'll get those out to the restaurants.
How does this affect our reservoirs at Twin Oaks, North Twin Oaks? How does it affect our reservoirs up there? Doesn't?
No, not particularly. I don't think there's any.
The drought doesn't
Ed
affect
might
them.
want to address it, but nothing that I've seen.
Yeah, I think the good news is we've got plenty of storage here in San Diego, and certainly with the desal, it's a drought-resistant supply of water, so we're doing good.
That's what I was wondering. Thank
Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Chris.
Thanks so much. I'm gonna help Mike here for a second.
Okay, on to action item 2.2, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Vallecitos Water District electing to have sewer service fees for Improvement District A for fiscal year July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, collected on the tax roll.
You got it?
Yep, Mike Arthur's going to take this, and this is a resolution that we bring to the board every year in June, so this is an annual resolution.
Okay, well, it's gonna be in this presentation mode, which is fine. I only have 2 slides for you, and thank you, President Elthorpe, members of the board, so it's nice presenting on anything other than the budget today. So it's really great. Like I said, I only have 2 slides, there's only 2 numbers on here, and no graphs and no charts. So the Improvement District A, these are, let me go down to the next page. So what this is these are customers that are sewer-only customers. They are not water customers of the district. So another agency such as like VID or Rincon provide the water for the parcels, and we provide the sewer service. So what tonight is going to do is it allows the sewer service fees for these sewer-only customers to be placed on the county tax roll. And it's a requirement from the state that we bring this to the board annually. So as I mentioned, Alexa have the fees on the board, on the tax roll, and it sets the public hearing for July 20th, 2022. And real quick, just some preliminary numbers, and they're subject to modification. We go back and forth with the county because some parcels might drop off, some parcels might get split. There's about almost 1,900 parcels that are sewer only within the district, and the total amount that goes on the property tax bill is a little over $980,000. And other than that, the staff recommends then that we adopt the resolution and set the public hearing for July 20th, 2022.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Move to approve.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you explain for the benefit of the public why it is done this way?
Sure. So, and Jason or someone else can help me out a little bit on this. So these are customers that are probably on the border of two agencies. And when the parcels were built out, the water supply was closer to one district and the sewer supply closer to another. So they're bifurcated in terms of water and sewer. So they're not water customers of the district. So the only way for us to bill them, because they're not in our billing system, the most efficient way for us to bill them is to put them on the property tax roll. And like I said, there's about almost 1,900 customers. And the good thing is we only get charged about, I think, 10 cents per parcel to have the county collect these fees. So we don't have to mail out the bills to the customer every month or maintain the records for those.
Because our billing system ties the water to the wastewater. And since these folks aren't using both, we have to find another way to bill them.
Right, another
Okay,
mechanism.
thank you.
Yes.
So just, so I understand, if they usually they pay monthly, so do we get paid by the county when the county gets paid?
So we get paid by the county, they put it on the tax roll, and so you get your property taxes twice a year.
Right.
I believe these are only put on, and I'm not 100% sure, I think it's only put on the first bill. I don't know if they split it over the two bills, but if they do split it over the two bills, we get it every April and December as the county gets paid. So they give us the full half
Okay, that's what I
every
was
6
wondering.
months.
So we get paid as they get paid, whether it's April, November, or whenever.
Correct.
Thank you.
And at 10 cents a parcel, it's hard to beat the price.
And so
Yeah.
it averages $43.76 per parcel,
Is there any feedback why somebody wouldn't
per
want to do
month,
that?
per month.
Yes, because most, for most of these are single-family residences that are $38.99 a month. There are some businesses on there and some churches and some other parcels on there.
So, I mean, if somebody defaults on their taxes, we don't get paid.
Well, there'd be a lien put on the property, and
Right.
eventually, when the house is sold in foreclosure, or whatever the case may be, we would get reimbursed for
Right.
that.
And so some of these people are used to paying $45 a month or whatever. Now they're gonna get paid $500 every 6 months.
Right, and these are customers that have always been on the property tax roll,
Oh,
so
these are-
nothing has
okay, okay.
changed.
Yeah,
We've had,
We're just
pretty much,
changing.
it's 99%
Oh,
of the same customers every single year. As I mentioned, there may be some customers that are annexed in, or there's some lots that may be split eventually from one lot to, we have one that's proposing to go from one lot to 24 lots. So then there would be a change on that.
I got you.
There
Thank
must
you.
be quite a few parcels in the VID area over Roxburgh's, I imagine.
Absolutely, yes.
That's probably most of them.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I have a motion from Director Snell. Looking for a second?
Second.
Second by Director Boyd Hodgson. Please vote. And it's unanimous.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, on to item 2.3, and I don't know how we should handle this. Did you want to proceed with it? Or?
Well, we certainly can. Keep it short, or we can.
Well, I'm the one who had requested that it be put on the agenda so we could have a conversation about it. In the weeks leading up to the meeting, though, there's been a lot of discussion between staff and St. Elizabeth Seton Church, and I think that the the church folks are satisfied with how those discussions are going and have decided not to come and bring it to the board at this time. And so.
Yeah, you've got a memo in your board packet which explains everything, and Director Snell is right. We've kind of been communicating with them. I think we've got a resolution, working that out, so we can skip the presentation if you want, and it's covered in the board packet.
I didn't get, if I got it, I didn't read it. What is the ultimate solution? Because I just got called yesterday, and
We've
it's
been
still
we've
up
been
in the
working on
air.
it, we've been working on
It
it
was
right up to
the
about
hour.
Okay.
30 minutes before the board meeting.
Oh, all right.
So the ultimate solution is to leave the detector check in its current position. It will get upgraded to a double, which
Yeah.
is what we, that's the main focus. And then, because it's not gonna get relocated, what we've agreed on is to put a fence up over the pipeline between the right-of-way and the device that prevents anybody digging into or exposing that pipeline, prevents any kind of a connection, illegal or accidental. Have to kind of work with the city to make sure everybody's on the same page. They're the land use agency, so we gotta make it clear with them.
Would we be granted an access easement? for the-
We will be asking for an access easement. There's a couple of ways we can do that, so we'll work with them on what's, what makes sense for them. And then we also will be looking for an agreement on responsibility of that pipeline between the right-of-way and the device. And they've already said that they will assume that risk. We'll just we'll formalize that.
Perfect. All right, great.
Thank you.
And the only thing I would add is that I've learned a lot more about fire flow, backflow systems than I ever thought I ever would. And it sounds like this is gonna be, as the district tries to upgrade the systems and then tries to drive some standardization, we're probably gonna need to formalize some flexibility for staff in the options, because the state regulations require the water districts throughout the state to provide that level of extra protection, but it doesn't tell us how to do it. It's up to us to do it. So we have to give staff through a policy a little bit of probably guidance and some empowerment to be able to implement that.
Great.
And that was not having that in place was part of the challenge for this one. So.
As I tried to explain to Ms. O'Reilly a few times, that staff didn't have a tremendous amount of flexibility. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this issue is related, will come up again, as you noted, and we did bring this sort of a related topic to the P3 committee, that we've got about 188 of these non-compliant devices in the district, and we do need to come up with a plan on how we're gonna notify them and how we're gonna meet the state standards. So I imagine some of those will run into needing to be relocated. We've done 40 so far since we started our process, and of those, this is the first that's kind of come up with a sort of an alternate approach, but that's something we can look at.
Great, thank you.
Just one comment on that.
Sure.
I was at the site, I don't know, last week, and I made a phone call, and James and Elizabeth were out there in like 10 minutes. So their responsiveness and then their expertise in explaining it was amazing. So thank you. I mean, I was sitting there talking with them in the parking lot, and all of a sudden they drive up and answer all the questions, and we're able to, not resolve the issue at least, but give them some options. So
That's great. It's
Elizabeth's,
great to hear.
It was awesome, yeah. They were impressed, and I was impressed, and it was nice, just the responsiveness of
Good.
James and Elizabeth.
What you missed was Elizabeth running through the parking lot to get to running through the parking
Yeah,
lot.
I don't doubt it. I mean, she didn't even have a sweat on her brow though, but it was fabulous. That was, thank you.
Great. Okay, I think that's it for that item. That's all for our action items, so we're on to reports. General Manager.
Well, the report is there's no general manager, so, but I will, and he's headed to Yellowstone, so hopefully he makes it in. Only thing I wanted to mention is the Water Authority did hold a kickoff meeting for their master plan today. So I attended that with a number of GMs and other engineering groups, and we'll see how that process goes. They're looking for input from member agencies, so we'll continue to engage them as they look at, what are the forces driving their infrastructure improvement plan. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. District Legal Counsel.
Thank you. Just a couple items. One, we'll be heading into the election season, so I just want to remind staff of, the heightened rules and scrutiny during that period of time regarding our publications and mass mailings. So, and then remind officials, there are limitations on actions while you're on the dais, and for staff regarding political campaigning while in uniform is how I'll put it too. So those will come into play. The second item, I mentioned this before the meeting started, there is an Aqua Region 9 program that's going to be held on the 24th up in Temecula at Wilson Creek Winery. A couple of the topics are going to talk about water impact on local economy, maybe focused on that region, but I think some of those lessons out of there will apply across the board. And the keynote presentation is entitled Green Jim Crow, the impact of California's climate policies on civil rights, racial equality, and the expansion of critical water infrastructure, which I think would probably be a pretty good topic, particularly given the drought impact on diverse communities, particularly economically, and how we are going to be able to provide it to those. But that is it. That is it on the 24th. I know you need to sign up by tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
But you can sign up on the Aqua website. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Next, San Diego County Water Authority will be meeting next week on the 23rd for our regular June board meeting. For that, I'll move on to Encino Wastewater Authority.
Yes, the capital meeting, improvement meeting, it was held this morning. We had 4 capital improvement projects which we discussed. The digester improvement project and valve replacement. And very interesting, they showed this valve, a 30-inch valve, and I can't remember the name of it. Sterlite? Chemicals bonding together, creating this hard concrete-like surface around the inside perimeter of this pipe. It was 2 inches thick. And so they have to remove these valves, and the darn thing had only been in there 8 or 10 years. So that was pretty interesting. The cogeneration building, the HVAC, they're finishing on that. The clarifier and strainer improvement project, clarifier number 5, is being worked on. And the draft project award, that's the dissolved air flotation tank, was awarded to Phelon Construction for $3,030,000, with the construction administration going to Corolla for $356,000. They had a transfer of $581,000 plus because it was so underestimated. The budget was like $1.8 million, and here we are going to be at $3.5 million plus. So that was a little disturbing. And of course, COVID and supply chain are the reason for everything. So we had to move some money around. Then the annual renewal of our SCADA control consultant. That's the supervisorial control and data acquisition. That was renewed with Enterprise Automation for $115,180. And the manager's report had some interesting information. Apparently Scott was contacted by the Bureau of Reclamation and identified there are some grants coming up that might benefit us on our One Water project at Encino. So he's keeping an eye on that. And that was the report.
Do we have an estimate on the latest estimate on the?
Over 400 million.
400 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And over 10 years
To implement.
before the ribbon cutting. So I told him to hurry up. I wanted to be alive for the event.
Yeah, and the Encina Policy and Finance Committee has not met since the last time we were together. And our next regular full board meeting, not regular, we actually had tomorrow morning have a special full board meeting that's going to be a closed session for some personnel matters. That's all I got to report.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to standing committees. Any
Okay, we have
standing?
that.
Okay.
The P3 committee met last Monday, no, 2 Mondays ago, and we are thrilled to report that we have come to a consensus on the scholarship recipients that we will be bringing to the full board for a vote.
Fantastic.
Very qualified young people, and it's just so exciting that we're going to be able to provide this to the community, and we're looking forward to sharing it with you.
Great. Great news.
Question, were they essays that they delivered, or personnel, or both?
So the application process did require an essay, required a letter of recommendation, and, sort of standard fill in the blank, what are you studying, where are you going, what do you hope to do, what are your activities, and, it filled me with optimism for our future to read these applications.
Very good.
Yeah.
Happy to see that.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Any other standing committees? Seeing none. On to directors' reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended. Well, I'll just say I attended the City of San Marcos State of the City, and I think a couple others did too.
Yes.
That was June, I think 4 out of the 5 did actually. That was June 8th. They gave out, as usual, San Marcos Chamber's Excellence in Business Awards to several recipients. They being BioLife, Plasma Services, Boys and Girls Club of San Marcos, Miguel de Jesus of Cal State San Marcos, and San Marcos Prevention Coalition. And the mayor's speech was very upbeat and positive, and talked a lot about the Creek Project, the new hospital, and the what's going on with the North City development. So if anyone else wants to add to that.
Good synopsis.
Okay.
I attended as well, and it was well worth the go. The other great thing about these type of events is you get to interact with some of the other folks. I was able to talk with Buck. I can't remember Buck's last name. Martin, thank you very much. Who is the rec department director regarding South Lake, and he introduced me to his cohort who is putting that together, and they're very close. They're very close, they said.
Feverishly working on it.
Well, feverish is probably over-exaggerated,
Yeah,
but
say a little bit.
they are working on it, and so it's going to happen here.
All right.
Certainly before the election, if I have to cut the mold myself.
Just while you're speaking, anything on the Hillside project? I know we haven't heard much on that.
We're in the process of getting our geotechnical report. I talked to Rick actually over this last week, just in passing. Once we get that, they're going to send that geotechnical report to the developers that are looking at it. They're excited. I saw one of them at the event. He can't wait to deliver his next project to us to see what we think, and then we'll be bringing a recommendation to the board.
So that's moving. Great.
So I would hope in 60 days we'll be doing that.
Will there be a presentation to the board with an overview before the final recommendation? For those of us that are newer to the board, we've
it'll-
not seen like a full-on,
It'll be the whole, you'll
Okay.
see the whole
Okay.
thing with the recommendation.
thank you.
Yeah, no.
Great.
It's,
Okay. Any other meetings attended? Seeing none, on to directors' comments or future agenda items. Anything?
I'd like to see a discussion, and maybe the P3 committee is where this originates, but, and I missed the first meeting in June, but June is Pride Month, and several organizations across, this city where we live, as well as other cities, have instituted proclamations recognizing Pride Month and recognizing members of the LGBTQ community. We here at Vallecitos have changed our application so that if you are non-binary, you can indicate that when you apply. And I think in keeping of the spirit of a more inclusive workforce, attracting a diverse workforce, I think it's important for us to do something to recognize Pride Month. So maybe we talk about it in the P3 committee, and then we bring maybe a resolution or some kind of recognition forward to the board.
Yeah, I certainly support that. Any other comments?
I'm supportive as well. Just when you were talking, Director Boyd Hodgson, I was kind of thinking that maybe for that month, we could put kind of more of the rainbow colors in our logo for a month or something like that, so,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, okay. Any other comments? Oh, seeing none, we're adjourned.